So welcome everyone. I'm Liz Jennings, host of Explore Careers in MedTech for Tuesday, February 9th, 2021. So glad to have you all here. We're going to find out more today about the MedTech medical device, med technology, medical software, healthcare device manufacturing, lots of names for this industry, but this is a major industry in Minnesota. So we're going to hear from Nanin from Vital, and then we'll learn a little bit more about Surtech. Unfortunately, though, I have to tell you that she to drop out at the very last minute, so won't be here, but I have some of her slides. And then we'll be getting an overview of the med tech industry in Minnesota and how valuable it is, and some tips for you to do while you're doing your research into that industry. And then we'll be hearing about some upcoming events and resources that you can take part in CareerForce. So I'd first like to welcome my colleague Tom Reese of CareerForce Bloomington, who's going to give us an overview of the medtech industry in Minnesota. Take it away, Tom.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Liz. Thank you to you and advanced presenters. Welcome to CareerForce, everyone, and so glad you could join us. What I'm going to do this
Is there any audio going right now? I cannot hear a thing.
Oh, could everybody else hear me? Could I get a thumbs up from someone?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
For people on the call who may not, well, they can't access the audio, but restarting always helps if your audio might have dropped out. So go ahead, Tom.
Okay, thanks, Liz. All right, so once again, I was mentioning, thank you for everyone for joining us today. Liz and I are very, very excited to be able to provide this information on MedTech. The field itself, as you all know, is extraordinarily robust in this state. And as you look at this first slide, you will see that we are actually looking at over 32,000 job openings in the state, which ranks us second in the nation. And so highly concentrated area of med device in our manufacturing in our state. And so if you are considering either re-entering med device manufacturing, med tech, or looking at it as a potential new career path for yourself, it's a great option. Next slide, Liz. So once again, just to reiterate that point, if you look on the left there, you will see 3 states in our country here. Obviously, California is at the top, #1, but then here comes Minnesota, #2. So if people are wondering, well, is this a viable sector for me to consider? There's absolutely no question that it is. And as a matter of fact, our host today in particular is the CareerForce location in Brooklyn Park. And we will hear from Sean a little later this afternoon. But Sean and that CareerForce location happen to be in the heart of the med device world of the Twin Cities. So that's not coincidental, but you'll hear more about that in a minute. Next slide, please. So here's a list of a range of openings or opportunities or job titles. And so if you're a person listening today kind of wondering, well, I certainly know what, excuse me, a clean room environment looks like. I know about medical assembly, maybe subassembly kinds of positions, but I'm not sure what else is out there. Well, here's a list to help you sort of jumpstart that thought process. And for those of you who are maybe coming from a different sector, maybe as an engineer, rest assured there are transferability of skills that lend themselves very well to this sector. So consider that as well. Next slide, please. So the next phase, excuse me, of this presentation will be talking about moving through this website that you see. careerforcemn.com/jobs/demand/during/COVID-19. If you were to visit that website, you will see a lot of great information around things like, what do these, in this case, medical technology software look like, developers look like space, and get a sense of what that's all involved and how you might fit into that sector, or that subsector, I should say. Next slide, please. So as you look at this slide, and by the way, Liz will be sending out this whole slide deck presentation, so you don't need copious notes at this point. You will be able to review this later. So what we're looking at here is an example of what you might find when you go to that website. You will see what's really great is a video of a person functioning within the occupation. So you get a sense of what the environment looks like. I happen to think it's very important to consider what the work environment looks like as much as the actual job duties. And so you would get a chance to observe that. There's also a wage range listed. So you'll get a sense of what kind of lifestyle you'll hopefully be living once you start in one of these occupations. There are job listings that you can peruse as you go through these websites as well. So the whole idea here, of course, is to do your due diligence, do your research, so that when you talk to individuals like we're going to hear from today from the various companies, you'll be well versed in what to expect, how to field questions, what to have an understanding of prior to your interview. So next slide, please. Great resource for all of you. Medical Alley is one of our very proud partners of Career Force in the state of Minnesota. The rich and vast resources that they have at their fingertips are absolutely amazing. They are also more than happy to help connect you with employers that are looking for talent. And so at the bottom of that slide, it says medicalalley.org intelligence. Go to that website and learn much more about Medical Alley and connect with them. But it's just a great source for you. Next slide, please. So biotech and software at Min State. What we're asking you to consider here is if you feel like you're going to be needing some skills upgrades, or maybe starting fresh with a brand new degree or certificate or training skills upgrades, here's a list of some of the colleges, MINSCU providers, in some cases, that provide this kind of training. The advice I would give you as a Career Force staff member is to reach out to these schools and conduct what I would refer to as an informational discussion with the school. Ask them, with the kinds of training you're providing and the cutting edge technology that I'll learn and the terminology and so forth and so on, will that be relative to what I need to know in the workplace? And so you end up actually interviewing your training provider before you make any decisions. But that's an idea of some of the places in the metro or in other parts of the state that can provide you this very important training information. Next slide. So when you are looking for that job search, once you've completed the training and you're ready to go and you're a freshly minted professional in the field, you're welcome to come and join us on careerforcemn.com. And within that website, you'll be able to enter a keyword to learn more about occupations. So once again, there's never going to be a shortage of data and information for you to explore and help you hone your skills and educate yourself in the field itself. And I believe that's the end of my part of the presentation. One more comment to make before we move on. Always keep in mind, and I know Liz is thinking, here it comes, because I say this all the time. Always keep in mind that informational discussions are critical to your success as a job seeker. Excuse me. So always try to create opportunities yourself by having informational discussions. And if you're curious about that, we'll be more than happy to guide you through that process. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you, Tom. Yes, all good information, training, where to do research. I even registered myself for a free webinar at Medical Alley coming up the next couple of weeks about what employers are looking at. So I'm doing my own professional development research with their organization. But now I want to go over to Nanin Medical with Janae Moore and Emily Barassa. They're going to tell us about Nanin and their role in the medtech industry in the Twin Cities. Take it away.
Sure, yeah. Well, thanks for having us today. We're super excited. So yeah, we are Nanin Medical, and one kind of easy way to remember Nanin and how to say it is we come from non-invasive measuring devices. That's what our line of business is in. So if you think non-invasive, you'll think Nanin. But you can go to the next slide, please. To kind of start out about Nanin, so Nanin was founded in 1986 by Phil Isaacson and a team of 3 engineers. It truly was a basement startup. They were all kind of working for a company and wanted to start off with pulse oximetry. And it was as pulse oximetry was first emerging as a technology. So not a lot of companies had really done much with it. And so they decided that they could do it and do it well. So ultimately, that's what they did. That's how we got our start. So pulse oximetry is something that you may be familiar with during kind of this pandemic, but it's the little clip that goes on your finger and it calculates your pulse rate in addition to your overall blood oxygen saturation level. So that's really how we got our start. It still is a very large part of our business and has been what has propelled us to be a global leader in non-invasive medical monitoring. So now we're in more than 125 countries and have partners across the world. Next slide, please. So again, about Nanin, like I said, we have Phil Isaacson. He's actually still active within our company, which is one really unique and cool thing I think about Nanin. Currently, he's our Chief Technology Officer. So very cool to still have our founder involved, but ultimately our vision is to improve the quality of people's lives throughout the world by expanding the capabilities of non-invasive measurements. And then our mission is to provide a diverse portfolio of simple non-invasive measurements. Ultimately, we strive to provide durable, high performance and easy to use solutions. And a big thing for Nanin is quality and reliability. And then as far as our makeup of our company, we have about 230 employees currently, most of which are located in Plymouth, Minnesota. And then additionally, we do have some sales reps across the US and overseas as well. Okay, so then kind of what we look for, generally we want somebody that's motivated. I think a lot of companies are looking for that, but really we're looking for somebody that is a good culture fit, somebody that really fits into, the mission of people wanting to impact and improve the quality of people's lives. So that's one thing. Aptitude for learning, we'll kind of talk about it in a few slides here, but just that drive to learn and grow in your career. Strong communication, that's going to be a big one, as especially in kind of our virtual environment currently. We've learned, the power of communication and how important it is. And then some other things that we look for is collaboration, being team oriented, as there's quite a few teams that do things cross-functionally. So being able to be that team oriented person, solution oriented, not just, bringing forward a problem, but bringing forward a solution. And then a continuous improvement mindset. So in terms of our positions, the majority of our positions are going to be ones that require a bachelor's degree, but there are a few exceptions for that. So some of the exceptions would be in our production environment. Typically, we look for somebody who has a soldering certificate for that. And then additionally, some of our technician positions are going to only require more of that associate's degree level, something that's specific to that role. And then some of our popular positions that we have are marketing, quality, regulatory, project management, production, operations, that sort of stuff. And then engineering, I would say, is our largest discipline, being that we have engineering across all departments. For the most part, we do have a big research and development group, but then we have sustaining engineers, quality, that sort of thing, manufacturing as well. Okay, so then like I kind of talked about with training, some of the programs that we have is tuition reimbursement. So if you join Nonin and you're looking to go get an undergraduate or graduate degree, we would reimburse for that. And then additionally, there could be external trainings through an organization or something that would be job related that would be supported by managers. I know for myself, I was able to utilize getting an HR certification, and that was completely supported by management. And it kind of goes back into what we're looking for. We are looking for somebody that is looking to learn and grow in their careers. And so it is something that we as a company value and want to see our employees succeed and grow with Nonin. And so any support that we can provide in that way is something that we do want to support. So what we love about working at Nonin, for myself, I've been with the organization for a little over a year. And one of the things that's big for me is the ability to make an impact no matter what role you're in. So whether you're in the production environment or you're the CEO, you across the board, you have the ability to make an impact because we're more of that mid-sized company. So that part was huge for me. I've got to learn a lot personally in my role, and I know that a lot of people have grown in theirs as well. So that's one thing. Amazing culture. Again, I absolutely love the culture at Nonin. I think we're really focused on our mission and vision and impacting people's lives. And so it definitely shows with the employees. And one thing too that I found is it's definitely a top-down approach. Phil Isaacson, our founder, who's still active within the company, he's a big believer in culture. And so cultural tenets are big for us and different things like that. Commitment to DE&I, so diversity, equity, and inclusion. Recently, we added that as our vital few, which is kind of a part of our big mission as a company in terms of goals. So we added DEI as part of that. And then additionally, we have a DEI council that's really propelling us forward in that space. And then finally, our people and our products. So again, Nonin could not do the amazing things that we do right now without our amazing people that we have. And then additionally, our products do save lives. So being in that medical technology industry, you get to see the impact that the work you do helps people. So those are a few of the things that we love. And then how to apply and get in touch. So what you can do is go out to our careers page at nonin.com/careers. You can submit a resume for general consideration. But additionally, one thing that can help is connecting with us via LinkedIn. So Janae Moore, she's our talent acquisition manager. And then myself, I'm an associate HR journalist. So feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn. And then feel free to reach out via email to inquire about different job opportunities, what may be a good fit, or if you just want to learn a little bit more about Nonin.
Thank you. You know, there's a couple of questions coming in, so I'm going to read a couple of them here. What recommendation would you have for people who've worked within production design? So one caller's worked through an agency for a short contract with Medtronic in the past as a production designer. So what skills are you aware of that are needed to work in the marketing or creative department of a medical device company?
Sure. So right now we currently don't have any production design positions per se. But in terms of our marketing or creative departments, kind of the things that we're looking for is somebody that is passionate about the work they do. And then additionally, somebody that is a good culture fit. I mean, at company-wide, that's kind of some of the things that we look for. But being that you do have experience with Medtronic and in the med device industry, that's definitely a huge plus because you do have experience with that. So I would say that that's definitely a good aspect.
And then what about for job seekers who don't have experience related to the medical or healthcare fields? Maybe they are a business analyst, but in a different industry. Can a person transfer in? Can they plead their case for transferable skills?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are certain positions that are going to be more something that we would need med device or heavily regulated industries. So maybe if a person doesn't have med device specifically, but they do have aviation or another highly regulated environment, that would be a big plus. But another thing too is, you know, we're looking for somebody that, you know, we can connect with in terms of being close to the company culture and somebody that would be a good fit. So even if you don't feel like you have the med device experience, I mean, I would definitely tell people to, you know, give it your best shot and apply for things. And you know, maybe depending on the position, it could be something that could be beneficial. Specifically for some positions, you know, med device experience is not required. So definitely look at the requirements in that sort of space, and then also connect with somebody from that company, or specifically here at Nonin with Janae and myself, to learn a little bit more about the position and what we'd be looking for.
Great, thank you. What about the industry need for data scientists? I don't even know, you know, what role do data scientists play in either Nonin or other med tech companies?
Yeah, so currently, our current population of employees, we don't have a data scientist. We have more of a data engineer, which is in our R&D space, which is closely kind of linked into our IT department, just with the cloud capabilities. So I don't have too many specifics on that.
Good. Okay. And then last one, I think, and then we'll pivot to our next guest. But if someone had been involved in healthcare, you know, or say someone doesn't have an engineering or software background, but has had other healthcare or related experience, what are some of the entry points that could be possible? Are there?
Yeah, so I would say sales or customer service would be a good entry position. I know we've had clinical application specialists who are clinically trained as nurses. And so that would be a pivot, and just any of the more entry level, but it does depend on the experience too. So kind of it depends what healthcare background you have. I know the question said specifically as an educator. We have in the past had a medical education director, so that could be a way to pivot into that as well.
Well, thank you very much, both of you, Emily and Janae. I know Janae's been frantically typing answers to all the questions. She's there, just had some audio issues with her connection. So Well, Emily was the speaker and Janae is the typer, but go ahead and they can answer a couple more of your questions. And as they wrote on this slide here that's up, submit your resume for general consideration. Sound like they don't have a lot of active openings right now, but the cycle of business always ebbs and flows. So they are most willing to have a conversation with you. So thank you to both of you for being on the call today.
Yeah, thank you. And definitely connect with us on LinkedIn and reach out via email.
Great, thanks. I'm going to go over to Vital. And Rochelle Peterson is with us today. Rochelle, did you get yourself unmuted? Here, I'm going to unmute you. There she is.
I am now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank
Welcome.
you for having me. So you can go to the next slide and I'll go ahead and start and just tell you a little bit about Vital Images. So we are a Canon owned company. So we work closely with Canon Medical Systems as the healthcare division for Canon, and they manufacture the devices that our software is found on. We are a software development company. And our software is found on MRIs, CAT scans, ultrasounds, and X-ray machines. So the company's technology works with doctors to diagnose patients through those imaging devices. So we have about 350 employees globally. We have about 200 sitting in Minnesota. We're headquartered out of Minnetonka. And that consists of, we have engineers, we have scientists, we have, of course, sales, marketing, and all the other areas, but primarily our employee base is technical with engineers. So we've been in business for about 33 years, founded in 1988. And we have about 6,000 customers worldwide, working in 125 plus countries. And our flagship product is our 3D advanced visualization software. And you can see from that image, it's highly advanced. It's actually considered the leader in the industry for 3D medical imaging. We do 3D and 4D medical imaging. And you can go to the next slide. So before I step into this, what I was going to say is that our products, if you look at medical imaging, with X-rays or MRIs or ultrasounds, and I don't know if you remember back in the day, or some still do use the film X-rays or, the 2D viewing, and ours is 3D and 4D viewing, which is really state of the art for medical imaging. Vital Images really takes pride on our mission and our vision, because our mission is to improve the quality of patient care and improve the impact that we have on patient care. And we do that through our advanced visualization software and some of our other software as well. And then also our vision. Our vision is to improve that quality. And you can go to the next slide, actually. Somehow my slides got mixed up, but that is our 2D, the old 2D PACS way of viewing medical images. So you may have to go to the next slide. There it is. Okay, so that's our 3D and 4D viewing with the advanced analysis and computer-aided detection. So our software can actually be segmented. So if you say a doctor has an image of a patient's heart that they need, but they only want to see the valves, as you can see in this image, we can actually segment that heart image and take everything out of it except for those heart valves so that they can be seen in 3D, 4D rendering. And you can go to the next slide. So a little bit about Vital and the way that our structure, we're a fairly flat organization. So entry levels start out, you can start out without medical device or healthcare experience right out of college for entry level. That's the associate. And the level 2 is our intermediate level. That's where a person may have 2 to 3 years of experience. Our senior level is someone who has 5+ years of experience. And those are all individual contributor roles. And then you step up to that level 4 where it becomes a manager or a senior manager. We go up to the next level for directors, senior directors, and then executive management. And what's unique about us is that we do have two career paths. One is for the functional, corporate positions. It would be maybe sales, marketing, finance, accounting, operations. And then we have another career path that is specifically for technical, because we're a technically driven company. And some of the positions that we have open, we actually do have several positions open right now, over 20, which is quite a few for a company of our size. We have mostly engineer positions. So we have everything from entry level to principal level engineer roles open right now, as well as technical support roles. We do not require medical device experience, and we do not require healthcare experience for our roles. So if you're an engineer and you have, we're actually also very open to your technology stack. So if you have that, experience, if you look at the job description and you feel that it aligns, but you do not have the technical or the medical device healthcare experience, you should still apply, because we are open to any industry experience. Of course, having regulated industry experience is beneficial, because we're a highly regulated industry. But other than that, if you feel that your resume aligns to that job description, you should go ahead and apply. And you can go to the next slide. And the next slide. So this is just kind of a recap on, Canon Medical Systems and what they're doing. So while our software is found on Canon Medical Systems, it is not proprietary to Canon. So it's actually found on other manufacturers' devices as well. So that's just Canon's, their mission as well. So you can go to the next slide. So basically what we're doing is we are a technology company. We do not manufacture devices. That is Canon, and we partner with Canon. So our focus is on computer science, information technology, and healthcare information technology, information science. And so I was just going to speak to a little bit more about a couple of our roles. We have right now, we are running internship programs for those just starting out their career and still in college. We are also hiring several entry-level technical support engineers. So for those who have just graduated from school and haven't really started their career, just looking to get that started, we're hiring entry-level technical support engineers. Our products are built on both Windows and Linux. So if your program involved either one of those or both, then you could very well qualify for these roles. And the technical support engineers provide both hardware and software support, and we provide the training for that. We also have roles open for project management, and we'll be opening roles soon for product management. And then most of the other roles are engineering roles. So from, again, entry level up to principal level, we have roles open. We even have a couple of engineering manager roles open. And most recently, we opened a implementation project manager. I know someone in the chat had mentioned something about that, and we do have roles open or opening soon for those clinical application specialists who are doing training, and then the implementation project managers who are customer facing and helping to get our products into our clients and getting them set up. And so that is it. So again, we have several jobs open. Go ahead and go to our website. As you can see right there, you can also feel free to reach out to me directly, and my contact information is there for you as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Rochelle. A question for you. Does Vital Images ever hire through staffing agencies for those entry-level production jobs, or are you a direct recruiter?
Well, we do both. So we do accept submittals through agencies, and then we do our internal hiring as well. And all of those entry-level technical support engineer roles are open with agencies right now. So you could be contacted by an agency.
Sure. Yeah, that often is important for people, especially, like if they have young people in their lives who are looking for, those entry level. And I know sometimes the staffing agencies in our Twin Cities will fill some of those positions.
Yeah, absolutely.
One question person put in the chat asked if you would also address her same question as she had posed for Nanin about a production designer. What special skills would be needed to work in a marketing or creative department of Canon or Vital Images?
Mm-hmm. You know, it really depends on the role, and the best way to really identify that is looking at the job description, you know, for a specific role. But for us, you know, to be in the marketing, it is a bit of creative and technical. So again, I would have to say just look at the job descriptions for the job that you're interested in. For us, I really don't know offhand. I would have to take a look at some of those job descriptions in our library to identify specifics. But generally, it's a combination of both the product management, project management, and then the marketing.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. And can you just run by us one more time some of the job titles that you have open? I know you said project manager and production manager will be coming. What are some of the others that you have open?
We don't have a production manager open,
No?
but
Okay.
we just opened an implementation project manager. So that's really a customer-facing project manager who will help our clients implement their new products that we're selling them at, you know, for an enterprise. So let's say a hospital system is bringing our products on board. And so this person would be that point of contact and that liaison between the two to get them implemented in all the systems. And then a lot of software engineer roles. So from entry level, you know, we're looking for new grads to those that are at the principal level, you know, somebody with 10 plus years of experience. The technologies that our systems are built on are they're very broad. So we use everything from Java to Ruby, C++, C#, Python, you know, Angular, JavaScript. So it's very broad. So we don't expect someone to come in with all those specific languages. If someone would come in with one or two, then they're open to that. We know that we're going to bring people on board and have to train them in specific technologies. So they're pretty open.
Great.
But it's
Thank you.
mostly engineers.
Is there anything else you want to add, Rochelle?
No, that is it. I would say check out our website and let me know if you have any questions. My contact information is posted, so you can, you know, feel free to contact me for more information on
Could I
any
ask a question real quick?
Sure. Sean Morgan from Career Force Brooklyn Park.
So I may have missed it. I'm trying to multitask with the presentation I have to provide, but did you talk about remote work or work from home opportunities?
Good question. Rochelle.
Good question. Yes, I did not. So we are all remote right now. We have been since last March, and we do not have a date in sight right now for COVID of going back to the office. We're an essential business, so, you know, officially we are open, but we don't require anyone to go in. And so some of our roles are open to remote. The implementation project manager is set up for remote work full-time. Some of our engineer roles, they are open to remote. The technical support engineer roles, they do prefer on-site, but they're open to remote as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Good question, Sean. Well, I'd like to move along. I'm going to turn my video back on and just cover for you for a few minutes information about Surtech Medical. Unfortunately, she let me know at the last minute earlier today that she wasn't able to participate. And so I pulled together a couple of slides from their website from some deed information that I had. Surtech is in Brooklyn Park. They are medical device design, manufacturing, and finished device assembly. They often have openings in the field of sales, program management, mechanical engineering, quality engineering, electronics, and I know that they had quite a number of openings currently on board. So I've posted their website, and I really encourage all of you to go to it. I'm going to type it before I advance the slide. So they're located on Xylon Avenue North, Brooklyn Park, 80,000 square feet, two 10,000 foot room clean rooms, huge facility. And some of their other engineering specs, precision machining, neurostimulation, leads assembly, mechanical engineering. So if that means something to you, all the more reason to check them out. But how I found out about them in November, DEED, the economic development side of DEED, had a ribbon opening with them. Surtech was the recipient of a DEED grant that helped them expand their facilities, and with that, expand so that they could hire. And they were expected to create an extra 200 jobs at an average wage of $22.89 per hour, while expanding, from their base of 350 Minnesota employees already. So it was big news back in November. It looked like it was a sunny day. So these are the jobs that I pulled directly off their career site this morning. These are screenshots. So process engineer, quality calibration technician, manager of developmental quality, laser technician, a buyer, project managers, machinists in the milling and the Swiss manufacturing, and then some other senior director positions. If any of that looks promising to you, go ahead, take a look at their career site. If you want more information, I can possibly connect you to the recruiter. Just send me a note and I can send her a note to see if she'd be able to respond. So, Surtech Medical. But at this point, I'd like to now transition over to some of the other career force activities that are going on and ways that we can help you in your medtech career search. So I'm going to invite Sean Morgan from Career Force Brooklyn Park to talk.
Thank you, Liz. So I'm Sean Morgan. I've worked for Career Force for about 6 years. I've done many different things. I've worked out of North Minneapolis and Brooklyn Park. I have worked with employers for the majority of my time in Brooklyn Park. So I have worked with about 300 employers, many of them in the medical field. And that's the theme of this event. So that's why I'm here, and that's why we're having this presentation today. We have upcoming events in, you want to transition? Thank you. So when you are on a virtual event like this, you could be coming from South Africa or North Dakota or anywhere. But if you're across Minnesota, you can actually search going to minnesotaworks.net and searching job positions throughout the state. It is only for state of Minnesota or employers that are hiring within the state, and those positions are posted for free by the employer. It's free for you to post your resume and search for jobs. It's a good tool, and Career Force MN has some of these features as well. One thing about that, if we look at careerforcemn.com, how you found this today, you can also find your local location. If it's Brooklyn Park, you'd end up talking with me or one of my coworkers, Pam and Robin or Mary. If you haven't used Minnesota Works before, it's as simple as selecting it from a map or searching for a keyword within range. I would recommend probably 10 or 15 miles to start, because you'll find 25 covers most of the Twin Cities, depending on where you are. Next slide. So we have 15 minutes left. I will try to get through this, and then we can get to some questions. Please post them in the chat as you think of them. I actually teach the LinkedIn class, so I'll talk a little bit about LinkedIn as well. Resume writing is upcoming. Everyone needs a resume. It's a sad truth. We haven't got to the point where you can just point at a website like LinkedIn and say, take a look at me and hire me. But hopefully we'll get there in the next 5 or 10 years, right? But we have a workshop. It's about an hour and a half long, and it will help you to understand what to put on a resume to become a candidate for an interview. A lot of people think that a resume is about getting everything they've ever done and fitting it onto 1 or 2 pages, and that is not how you get hired. So take that workshop. And another one is the orientation online, and that covers dislocated worker, rehabilitation, and veterans employment. And another creative job search feature is career planning and preparing for the job hunt. One of the hardest things for us when we're unemployed is staying positive, staying on task, and trying to find a job with a smile on our face and avoiding some of the bias and negativity that happens when we no longer have a job. Working with other people, encountering other people, networking with other people, and coming with realizing that you're not alone is really a good way to cope with the things that you can't control without time and experience. Next slide. So we have another career fair that is 1 to 2:30 through Washington County. You can see the website there. Another Metro Regional job fair. That is the website on February 16th, 2 to 5. If you want to find more or search for some in your area, careerforcemn.com/attend-career-fair networking-event. I know they couldn't make it like 1 word or 2. They had to make it whatever that is. So for job fairs, it's another opportunity to hear about companies that have positions, companies that want to help you understand what it takes to get hired there, what they're looking for. It's an opportunity to network with other people, network with these companies, and make a difference in your job search. Understand that I've got the experience, and a lot of people from CareerForce have experience working with people, and it's almost 0 people that think about getting a new job, apply themselves, and get a new job. Almost all of us have to go through a process of understanding what the employer is looking for, understanding what the difference between my current resume and the resume that they're looking for. In the interviews, you might fumble over words, you might be challenged. If you're perfect right out of the gate and you get a job instantly, I would challenge you to say you probably weren't looking for a position that met your level, or instead of looking for a senior or supervisory position, you were looking for something below you where it was too easy to get the job that you got. Let's see. A little bit more. Next slide. February 16th, another event like this, Explore Careers, Irrigation and Landscaping with Minnesota Nursery and Landscape Association. February 23rd, Building Products Production. That could be very interesting as well. It's similar to producing medical equipment, a little less regulated, I assume, but still important to do it right. So,
Well, and with both of those, I really recommend all of you on the call to spread the word to perhaps young adults that are looking for some different opportunities, especially for the summer season. The Minnesota Nursery and Landscaping Association is ramping up for the spring and summer, which we know will eventually come. So please pass the word to others that might not think about some of these workshops, and that's who we're striving to get for the next week.
So when an employer asks you to connect with them on LinkedIn, the simplest way to do that is going to be to go to LinkedIn and do a search for that employer. If you got a business card, you have their name. They often have their LinkedIn connection information on there. In a pinch, you can always search for the company and see the employees that work there and look through the list till you find the person and send them an invite to connect. When you send an invite to connect, please include a note. Tell them how they know you, why you want to connect. Don't just hit connect and send the invitation without saying anything. On a call or a presentation with 50 or 100 people, it's very hard for them to know everyone that they said or discussed anything with. The same thing is true for all of your connections. You want to make sure that they understand who you are and why they should connect with you. It does yield a lot better results, and you'll get a lot more positive responses if you do that. Another thing for careerforcemn.com, when you look for your location, you can also see the other services that are provided, whether it's rehabilitation services, dislocated worker, other workshops that are offered there, as well as some of the tools that we have on careerforcemn.com. We have the, what's the word? It's not survey, skills assessment, interest assessment. We have lots of opportunities for you to figure out if you're on the career path that you want to be on, something that you'll find fulfillment in. You don't want to be looking for landscaping jobs if you don't have a lot of interest working with your hands or being outside all the time or in all kinds of weather. Maybe you're more artistic or creative. Being aware is the first step to finding a position that's more satisfying. Is there anything else? We got one more slide. Does anyone have any questions?
No questions coming in. Rochelle or Emily, did you think of anything you want to add on about getting a career in the medtech industry? I think we're good. One question coming in for individual assistants. How do we know which career force location that's with? How do you know which career force location that's with?
So for individual assistants, you're going to look for the one that's most convenient if you were to go in person. So if you live in Duluth, coming to Brooklyn Park is probably not the best way. All you have to do is search for individual assistants, and within range of like your zip code or address, and you'll be able to see the locations that pop up. In the Twin Cities, you might find 5 of them in 20 miles or 15 of them, career force locations in 20 miles. But as you go out from the Twin Cities, it's going to narrow it down quite a bit. So choose the one that's most convenient for you.
And then what's a good way of finding some of the medium-sized companies in Minnesota? You know, if you really want to work more on a medium size.
So the best way is going to be a combination of a couple websites. One of them, it costs money. The other one, it does not. So careeronestop.org has information about companies, about the size that they are, the revenue, the number of employees. I don't know how current it is and accurate it is, because my primary tool for that has become LinkedIn. If you pay for premium, you get a snapshot of their of a company's status, the incoming and outgoing people and positions that they're hiring for, and it's a lot of useful information. Premium is very expensive though, It's about $30 a month plus tax. So if you haven't used that free trial, you might want to debate exactly when to use the free trial. If you pay for a year in advance, so instead of $30 a month, you pay the $20 a month equivalent all at once, so it'd be $240 up front. You could get that feature for a year. And there's many other things that go with that. For most people, LinkedIn Premium is not something I recommend. But if you're looking for that kind of specific, current, up-to-date information, you might find value in it.
Great. Thank you. As Tom Reese pointed out in the chat, any of the contacts listed from CareerForce would be happy to connect you with the right CareerForce. So I want to thank Sean for talking about LinkedIn. I'm learning a couple of things too there, Sean. Tom Reese for giving the overview. For Emily and Janae from Nanin, for Rochelle from Vital Images. Thank you all for giving us this little snapshot of the medtech world in Minnesota. Please reach out to any of us at CareerForce with questions that you may have. And we look forward to helping you on your career journey. So take care and see you next week. Thank you very much.
Thank you.